This is way better than we thought, as New York Jets fans have just gotten a huge boost of confidence in one of their key rookies this season in regards to how he'll play with this team. Meanwhile, with other tight ends on the roster, there's going to be a lot of discussion, and also we have a huge update that could have a major impact on Justin Fields. We're going to break this all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here. And guys, if you're part of that 70% that's not subscribed to Jets Digest, make sure to subscribe. This is a place for all Jets content. We got videos every day. You do not want to miss out on all the fun. But let's jump into it. There's a lot to go over with this Jets team. Look, Aaron Glenn's team has made a lot of changes. And one thing that we're going to see is a run-heavy offense for the New York Jets. And in part of that, we've seen the wide receiver game not exactly be excellent for this team thus far. We've seen Garrett Wilson, who's obviously a phenomenal talent and a true wide receiver one. But outside of that, we will see a wide receiver two by committee. Whether Allen Lazard's there or not is yet to be seen. But with guys like Josh Reynolds and Arian Smith rounding out the top end of this Jets receiving core that's not Wilson, it does add for just, I don't exactly want to say concern, because Arian Smith is exciting when you look at the speed and everything, and Reynolds understands what the Jets are trying to do here. But at the same time, it's not the greatest receiving core in the world outside of Wilson. So there's a lot of discussion about how none other than tight end Mason Taylor, who's going to be the tight end one for this team, how he's going to fit in with the roster. And there was a lot of discussion about this, Matt, as it was mentioned by draft analyst Todd McShay that the Jets absolutely needed a tight end, and with that quarterback situation, they definitely needed one. You need security over the middle of the field, and Mason Taylor is perfect for Justin Fields for playing that role. McShay also mentioned that Taylor is tight end one for the Jets. He's ready to go. The way the LSU used him is borderline frustrating. They didn't do enough with him, according to McShay, which is also another comment in itself that we should think about. Now, Taylor, in those 3 years at LSU, he actually had his most touchdowns in his freshman season with them, getting 10.9 yards per reception at 414 yards. But then his senior season, he was getting 10 yards per reception at 546 yards and 2 touchdowns, getting 45.5 yards per game as well. Very talented player. He was someone who, Matt, both of us were very excited to get picked by the New York Jets. And I agree. I think that Justin Fields is a guy who throws to tight ends a lot. I think this is a match made in heaven right now, especially at Mason Taylor's side.
Yep, because we got to make sure we get as many weapons on the football field around Justin Fields as we possibly can. And everyone's keying in on that wide receiver two position, but we have to remember it's not just about the wide receiver two. It's just anyone who can catch the football. And Justin Fields, he's good at throwing the ball deep, but he's has been inconsistent in his career on the shorter stuff. A big target like Mason Taylor, a guy with short hands, is going to make that easier stuff or that shorter stuff a lot easier for Justin Fields, which is why it's important that we pick him up. I think it's interesting that Todd McShay is confident that Mason Taylor is going to be our tight end one. Right now, Aaron Glenn says there is no depth chart, so we don't know. We're expecting it to be between Jeremy Ruckert and Mason Taylor here for that starting tight end position. McShay is already convinced that it's going to be Mason Taylor. If we were putting money down on it, we would both put money on Mason Taylor as well. Highly talented player. That's why you draft him 42nd overall. But what I also love about this article is just that this guy, or he said that he was used wrong at LSU, and that tells me he was already so good at LSU, and there's even more to this guy's game. That is great news for us because that tells us that he has another level to be unlocked in the NFL. And this is why tight ends from the second and third rounds the hit rate is for long term. It's like pretty similar to tight ends in the first round because in college, going to the NFL, there's so many different things that a tight end has to do. You never really know what you're going to get out of that position. So Mason Taylor could be even more impactful for his offense when he gets to the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to see Taylor play, and as you mentioned early on, look, it's not just about the wide receiver two, it's about anyone who can catch the ball. There's a very likely chance that we see Mason Taylor effectively be the second option of getting the ball thrown to him, so the second receiver in his own right, even though he is a tight end. Again, the Jets are going to run the ball a lot this season. And Look, I mean, that means there will be two tight ends out there, so Jeremy Ruckert will still get touches. So far, Ruckert, who did play with Fields at college, has not had a great NFL career. He was picked in that 2022 draft. That was really exciting. This was the first miss by Joe Douglas, who's now back working for the Eagles, funny enough. And last season was a solid season for Ruckert. Both 2023 and 2024 very similar. 2023, we saw him get 151 yards, 9.4 yards per reception. And then this season, we saw him get 105 yards in 18 receptions. So he did get more receptions, but he got less yards, having 5.8 yards per reception. Never scored a touchdown in his 3 years in the NFL. So Ruckert will probably, I mean, he has to have his biggest year this season if he wants to stay as a real NFL option. But on top of that, he's got a window to be successful if the Jets run multiple two tight end sets, which they are expected to do. So this is a situation that's going to help both the tight ends, but it's Taylor's job to lose, as it should be. Now, Matt, it's also important to mention that your favorite player in the NFL, Stone Smart, is also on the Jets as well. Now, last season he had 208 yards, had 13 yards per reception. He scored one touchdown in 2023, his one NFL touchdown. So he's someone who's going to be there for depth, more of a receiving option than any. But with this tight end situation, Matt, to me, I mean, I like Ruckert. I have nothing against Smart. I know you love Stone Smart. I know he's your favorite player, but I want to see Mason Taylor out there as much as humanly possible.
Yeah, I'm absolutely rooting for Mason Taylor to win this tight end job. Jeremy Ruckert has a lot of talent, but like you said, he needs to show something this year or he's not going to get re-signed by the Jets, and he's going to have trouble signing in a meaningful role with another team. This is really the best opportunity that he could possibly have asked for. He's with his old college quarterback where, Ohio State was the last time he saw real receiving success. So that's a good fit for him there. And also, it's a team that doesn't have a depth chart set up. Not all teams in the NFL are like that. In fact, a majority are not like that. A majority, when they sign a Jeremy Ruckert, they would be like, you're going to be our tight end 3, and he's not even going to have an opportunity to push for that tight end 1 spot. On the New York Jets, he has a chance, and that's what makes Aaron Glenn's approach to coaching this football team so different. He is really open to just making sure the best player is the guy who gets on the field, which I know sounds like the most obvious thing in the world, but I promise you that is not how a lot of teams actually handle their roster. There are politics behind it, why some people sometimes play over other people. It's politics, height, and talent. But Jeremy Ruckert, he's got to show something this year. If he doesn't show anything, he is not going to be on the Jets next year.
I was waiting to say the politics of it all. But on top of that, Matt, we also do have other news that could impact all of this because it impacts Justin Fields, the Jets quarterback. Now, look, as we know, Justin Fields is one hell of a rushing quarterback. He is a very, very talented runner. But it was revealed by Schefter that NFL owners are scheduled to meet Tuesday and Wednesday in Minneapolis. Why Minneapolis? Who knows? To vote on a proposal to ban the tush-push play that the Eagles have mastered. The proposal was tabled this spring at a league meeting in West Palm Beach, but is expected to come to a vote this week, and that could obviously have major implications on the Jets, as highlighted by the Jet Press, who mentioned that if this is passed, the rule could change quietly, or the rule change could quietly hinder the Jets' offseason or offense before Fields even takes a snap. The tush push isn't the same as a traditional QB sneak, but Fields has thrived in those situations, and he may no longer have that tool in his arsenal. Fields might not be Jalen Hurts, but he's been one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the NFL on sneak attempts over the last 3 seasons. From 2022 to 2024, Fields converted 18 of his 22 quarterback sneak attempts for an impressive 81.8% success rate. That includes a perfect 7 for 7 mark in 2022, followed by 8 for 10 in 23 and 3 for 5 in 2024 before he ultimately got benched for Russell Wilson. Now, all this being said, obviously, Fields is going to run the ball a lot. He's ran the ball a lot throughout his time in the NFL. Since Justin Fields got to the NFL, he's going into year 5. There have been 4 quarterbacks to rush for over 2,000 yards. There's a Lamar Jackson with 3,267 in 57 games played. Jalen Hurts with 2,779 in 62 games played. Josh Allen with 2,580 in 67 games played. And Justin Fields with 2,509 in 50 games played. So Fields has played less games than these guys. Obviously, these are 3 elite quarterbacks, all top of the top of the NFL level quarterbacks. Justin Fields, maybe not. But Fields has shown that he gets more rushing yards per game than both Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. Fields is an incredibly talented rushing quarterback. He's been that way for a while. It's what sort of kind of affected him becoming a bit overrated at points, at least in our minds, because people would see the numbers that he'd put up rushing the ball in the height of the Lamar Jackson experience, also because that has an impact on fantasy football. So because of all that, what we saw was Justin Fields get really, really hyped up. But this would impact the Jets.
Yeah, it wouldn't be secretive at all. One of the reasons why you go out and acquire a quarterback who's 6'3", 200 and almost 30 pounds is so you can do these quarterback sneaks. You want a tall quarterback and you want to invest in a tall quarterback instead of a short quarterback because, Chris, do you remember when Tom Brady would QB sneak? He was tall enough to just hold the ball up over the pile and just pretty much convert it every single time.
Yeah.
That's why when you're looking in the first round of drafts, that's why you have to go out and look for players with elite traits. And one of those elite traits is being 6'5". It's being tall enough to do that, being tall enough and heavy enough to be, one, able to convert those kinds of plays, and two, not get injured while doing those plays. We know the tush push, people like to say it's dangerous. The data doesn't exactly back that up, but you definitely don't want guys laying on the most important player on the team, that quarterback. But also another part of this, the Jets, we know they are strongly and heavily investing in that offensive line. A really good offensive line is going to be able to convert tush pushes at a high rate. On paper, I understand football is not played on paper, but on paper, the Jets look like a really good tush push team. And I'm hoping that does not get taken out of the game this week, because that is going to be something that disproportionately hurts the Jets more than other teams.
It would be the most on par thing ever for right when the Jets could be a good tush push team for that to get banned. Like, that is just the epitome of just our fan life. But what are you going to do? We'll see what happens, guys. What do you think is going to happen with the tush push rule? What do you think about Mason Taylor? Do you think that Jeremy Ruckert can contend with them? Let us know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. Go Jets. And remember, if you have any questions, you slide into Matt's DMs all the time.